A gloved hand injects a mysterious substance into the yolk of an egg. Minutes later, the egg divides, forming a perfect duplicate. Meanwhile, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a star is unveiled for Oscar winner Elizabeth Sparkle. As time passes, the star dulls, just as Elizabeth's own fame fades. Once a cinematic icon, she now hosts an aerobics show. Though fit and glamorous, age has not been kind. One day, finding the women's restroom out of order, she enters the men's room and overhears her producer, Harvey, dismissing her as a relic. He tells a colleague it's time for a younger, hotter host, noting that Elizabeth's Oscar was won at the dawn of cinema. Devastated, Elizabeth later meets Harvey for lunch, where he casually announces her retirement before strolling off with a friend, leaving her feeling discarded. As she stares at a fly in her wine glass, a crushing sense of helplessness washes over her. Driving home, Elizabeth is distracted by workers dismantling her billboard. In that moment, she loses control of her car and crashes. At the hospital, a doctor recognizes the fading star and awkwardly compliments her, but she breaks down, mourning a career that seems all but over. Embarrassed, the doctor leaves. But then a young nurse, oddly fascinated by Elizabeth, inspects her back while muttering something about perfection for an experiment. Before exiting, he discreetly slips a flash drive into her belongings. Later, in the privacy of her home, Elizabeth inserts the drive into her TV. A cryptic advertisement plays, introducing a product called Substance, a revolutionary injection that unlocks DNA to create a new, younger version of oneself. The two versions must share one life, alternating every 7 days, each remembering they are halves of a single whole. Haunted by the prospect of fading into obscurity, Elizabeth decides to try it. She calls the number and arranges for a discreet delivery. The next morning, a package arrives containing vials marked activator, stabilizer, the other you, and more. Elizabeth takes a deep breath, injects the activator, and is immediately overcome by excruciating pain. She collapses as her back splits open and a younger, stunningly beautiful version of herself emerges. For a moment, the new woman savors her youth in front of the mirror before noticing Elizabeth's unconscious form. She cleans up the room, stitches the horrific tear, and assumes Elizabeth's identity under a new name, Sue. Sue auditions for Elizabeth's former role and captivates everyone, including Harvey, with her youthful charm. She gets hired, claiming she must leave every 7 days to care for her sick mother. As Sue's star rises, Elizabeth is confined to a life of solitude, marked by moments of self-loathing. Every week they switch places, but Sue begins pushing the limits, using the stabilizer to extend her time in the spotlight. The toll on Elizabeth is severe. Her body ages rapidly, her joints stiffen, and her hair grays. Soon, Sue's ambition spirals out of control, abusing the stabilizer until Elizabeth becomes little more than a frail shell. When the stabilizer finally runs out before a major live show, Sue has no choice but to perform the switch. The now deformed Elizabeth, struggling to cope with her decay, realizes the only way to survive is to end the cycle. She prepares to inject Sue with a lethal dose, but as she stands over her younger self, she cannot bring herself to do it. Sue awakens, enraged at the betrayal, and kills Elizabeth in a fit of fury. Now completely free, Sue steps onto the stage for the biggest show of her career. But mid-performance, her body starts to disintegrate, with teeth falling out, nails detaching, and skin sagging. In a desperate attempt to save herself, she injects the last of the activator. But instead of rejuvenation, a monstrous fusion of both versions emerges. Eliza Sue. This grotesque hybrid stumbles onto the stage, its mask of glamour slipping away, revealing the horror beneath. The audience flees in terror, and in the chaos, a bystander beheads Eliza Sue, unleashing a flood of gore that consumes the entire venue. In the aftermath, what remains of Eliza Sue crawls towards Elizabeth's star on the Walk of Fame, its once beautiful face collapsing into a grotesque smile before melting into a puddle of blood. The next day, as workers scrub away the final traces, the memory of the once celebrated actress is erased. The film serves as a chilling exploration of society's obsession with eternal beauty and the impossible standards placed on women, forcing viewers to confront the cost of denying one's true self.